Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
Back from a run, just into the studio here this morning. What is your morning routine? Join us with body weight strength to mobilize hips, cores, shoulders, and anything else that you might share with us in that chat. First, we'll start from standing. Split stances. I'm going to come up and say hello right away. Who is that this morning? Good day. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. So hopefully our hearts say thank you so much for moving, and our bodies are ready for that. So we'll take our time, slowly get going. Let's do that. There we go. Never done that, I don't think, ever. All right. Let's start in the split stance. First, knees over toes. Hips stay over the feet. Extend those hips to tall. Repeat one more. Knees over toes. Heels heavy. And stand tall. One more time, but then we'll extend the one leg. Parallel at the quads. Transfer weight between 2 feet. Rotations at the head, neck. Hands where you wish. Perhaps palms forward. Shoulders set. Cross the body's all right too. At the head, neck. Chin in to grow tall. And rotate. I saw the most amazing picture of an owl yesterday, and you can't think of an owl without doing a little ooh, or just rotating at that head, neck. So one more time. We're growing taller every time. Returning to center. Last rotation. Aha. Then maybe hands over the shoulders like I Dream a Genie. All the pop culture coming out here. Hips stay forward, head stays forward, and then upper back rotation. In this rotation, the rib cage is staying over top of the hips, avoiding that side bend. Repeat one last time. Pull, push tension into the floor. Rotate through the T-spine. Return center. Last time. Then lastly, from this stance, the hips. I'll open up that hip towards Lauren and then pull closed. My hips and shoulders are trying to stay forward. That's always a tough task.
Head and shoulders are trying to stay forward. Hips
Thank you for the correction. And the hips open and close. One more time as we could open and then pull that energy to close. Push forward to come back and repeat on the other side. Knees over toes, straighten out a leg, extend to between 2 feet. Like that owl burrowed in a tree. Let's do a little rotation. Or perched on a tree. And rotate. And center. And last one.
Did you move it before?
And back to center. Hands across chest. And then the hips are staying forward. The upper back moving. This is me moving my arms or shoulders compared to the rib cage rotation. Get in touch. Talk to those rib cage muscles. Last rotation. Return center. With the head forward, I think I got that right. Then the shoulders too. Open those hips. Open towards the back. And then pull that front foot forward. Back hip that way. And repeat 1 or 2 more. To open and close. Last repetition. And then press forward. Come back. And shake it out. We'll forward fold to the ground. Wrists quickly. And then back up for more rotations at the head, shoulders, T-spine, and hips.
Let's fold. Gently tuck your chin towards your chest. Roll yourself down. Remembering you're trying not to push your butt back, but keep it stacked over top of you. And you're trying to stay as close to your low body as you can as you roll yourself forward. Hanging out there for a second at the bottom of your forward fold. Are your knees slightly bent? Can you straighten them a little bit? Could you gently shift your weight out of your heels and more forward into the front of your foot? Hang out for a couple seconds longer. Take another breath. And then gently bend those knees and come on down to the floor where we'll check in with our wrists. With our hands underneath our shoulders, let's start here by gently shrugging our shoulders up into our ears and then pulling them down. And one more time. Shrug your shoulders, pull them down, engaging those armpits. Now press the floor away so those blades come around your body or you're protracting. And then retract your blades to pinch your pencil in between them. Do that one more time. Protract, press the floor away. Don't round your spine, just move your blades. Pull your blades together. Now find a neutral place so blades are down, not fully retracted, but just set back behind your back. Gently rotate your elbow pits forward and then rotate them backwards. Rotate your elbow pits forward. As you do this one last time, checking in that your blades aren't moving when you're doing this, but just your socket, arms in the socket. Now that those elbow pits are forward, we'll gently drift with our wrists towards over our fingertips. Use your fingers, press into the floor to press you back to stacked. Repeat one more time. Elbows straight, shoulders packed, drifting over your fingers. Press back. I lied one last time. Drift over. And then use your fingers to press yourself back so much you press off the floor. Extend and shake that out. We'll do one more rest for today. Excuse me. Let's get down to our knuckles today. So hinging at the hips onto those fists, shoulders packed, elbows straight right away. Keep those two positions as you gently roll over the back of your hand. And then press into the floor to come back up to that fist. Repeat on the other side. Roll over the back of the hand. Press into the floor back to stacked. Last time each side. Which way is your elbow pit facing? Where is your shoulder? Press into the floor. Last time on this other side. Feeling that stretch up through the front of the forearm or the fuzzy part of the arm. And press back to center. Now extend your hips and press through. And we'll come back up via our forward fold. So hands will go on the floor, toes will tuck, knees will lift, pressing your feet down, slowly walking your hands towards your feet. Reload up that low body and core as you slowly stack one vertebrae at a time, all the way up, till your crown is tall. Shake that out.
Excellent. Practicing those wrist warm-ups, we'll be back to all fours with our favorite and kind of intense hip rotation from all fours. First, let's check in with those wrists, warm up the core as Lauren said, and we'll be back to those hips in just one moment. Open up your stance to your second position, your sumo squat, or maybe 2 shoulder widths of yours apart. From here, at the head neck, hula hoops or circles along a clock on the floor. Starting in the center of that clock, I'll press my face or head neck forward to that text neck posture or at 12. Then from 12, we'll slowly drift across, 12 to 3, going clockwise around to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12. One more time, same direction. Add that core tension into the ground through the floor, the butt squeeze, the core brace to isolate that movement at the head neck. Return to center and repeat twice the other direction. Forward again, clockwise from 12, move around to 9, 9 to 6, 6 to 3, 3 to 12.
I think that's counterclockwise, Ian.
Oh, right.
Right. Pick your direction.
Didn't I say that?
You said clockwise.
It's hard. It's hard to coordinate all those movements. Go both ways, clockwise one, counterclockwise the next. I'll start clockwise at that T-spine. Feet heavy, glutes clench, hands wherever you prefer, and press that sternum forward as to extend the T-spine. Then clockwise, we'll go from midnight towards 3, 3, towards 6, making that bum squeeze and work out the back. 6 towards 9, 9, 12, and then do that one more time. Nothing crazy. Start small and tighten up. Make those abs work. Return, return center, and now counter that with the other direction. I'll go forward, reaching to the side at 9, 9 towards the 6 out the back. 3 out the side, back and around. And one last time, feel your abdominals make this movement happen, but also restrict and balance that load on both sides. Time for those hips. First, let's do a slight posterior tip, which means bringing the front of the hips back. I always think of that scooping action. Try that once or twice more. If you are not in that posterior tip, you might be in an anterior tip, illustrated by Lauren's lumbar and hips there. So tuck them under, right on. From here, do your gentle hula hips. Keep the action in the hips. I like placing my hands on those hip holsters or socket joints right at the hips. Is that too? If so, let's do it the other direction, making sure that we keep the posterior tip to stay out of that lumbar spine. Last one, return to center, push down to straighten those knees if they were bent, wiggle it together, shake out, let's fold and check in with the hip flexion, extension, and then the stuff out to the sides.
Folding again. That's tall with our feet underneath us, a wall imaginary or behind us. Gently looking towards the ceiling, tucking the chin, and rolling yourself down. Think about curling forward, rounding each vertebrae, staying as tight to your body as you can. Try not to push your hips back as you go forward. Hanging out at the bottom for a second, taking that breath. Trying to straighten those knees a little bit more. And then slowly making your way to the floor, where we'll stay in our all fours position and work through those 3 hip positions. So our hands are underneath our shoulders, our knees are bent, our toes are, I like my toes tucked in this position. Now take your single leg and bend your knee so that your ankle is getting towards your butt. From here, gently lift the knee 1 or 2 inches off the floor, and then try to pull that knee towards your chest. As you're doing that, ask yourself, is your tailbone tilted long? So you're in that anterior tilt. Hold for 3.
It's always tough.
2, 1. That leg is going to brush to center, so legs are parallel, but don't put it down. Now can you lift it out to the side? And as you do that, are you still keeping your ankle close to your butt? Are both hips and shoulders square to the floor? Can you feel that glute fire up for 3, 2, that leg returns underneath. Again, don't put it down. We're going out the back side now. So now brush back to hip extension. As you get there, tuck under. I could kick you in the stomach so your abs are braced. You're feeling, again, that glute fire up, but both hips and shoulders are square to the floor for 3, 2, keep the knee really bent as you pull it back to center. Put it down. Take a second off your hands, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. The whole time, you're trying to keep that ankle as close to your butt as you can. Let's think about that here. Back down. 3 positions again. On the second side, bend the knee to get the ankle close to the butt. Keep the tailbone tilted long as you pull the knee towards the chest and hold. 5, hip flexion. 4, 3, 2, as it brushes through that parallel position, then it's going to lift to the side. Again, that bowl on your back wouldn't fall over, wouldn't spill off your back. 3, 2, leg returns underneath. And last time, hip extension. Brushing to the back, activating glute to kick the ceiling, staying square to the floor. Abs are braced. 3, 2, keep that knee bent as you return it underneath. And rest. Press the floor away to extend. Nice. From there, we'll do a quick lateral lunge. So let's bring a knee up into the front position, tucking our back toe. Heel toe that foot open to your side. Your side meaning your ankle and your foot are in line with your knee, pointing slightly sideways, but your hips are pressing forward. Now, spill your punch or untuck your hips so you're spilling your punch out the front. And then retuck your hips by squeezing your butt cheek and tucking under. Do that one more time. Tilt your hips forward.
Ooh, hurt crack there, Lauren.
And then tuck your hips back. Yeah, I give a lot of hip cracks. Then squeeze that back cheek, push down into the floor, pull on the floor, but don't go anywhere. Just start pulling that leg towards you. Feel this groin. Then relax. Retuck, drive down, start pulling. This time, let's actually drift towards knee over the toe. As we travel that way, we're still up tall. Our back cheek is still squeezed. Now we're going to push into the floor and press away to meet to tall at center, extending that back hip. Relax your cheek. Heel toe the foot to the front. Bring it underneath. Same thing, second side. To the front. Opening side. Hips are pressing forward. Chest is pressing forward. Now from here, let's spill our punch forward or tilt your tail to the ceiling. And then tuck under, squeezing your back cheek. Repeat. Tail tilt. Tail tuck. Keep it there. Squeeze. Drive down. Pull on the floor, but don't go anywhere. Feel. Whoa. 3, 2, relax for a second. Retuck. Re-push down and pull. And this time we'll drift knee towards over the toe. Both hips are coming with us, extending through that back, and then pushing down and pressing away to get back to tall. At that tall position, press the hip through, gently relax, heel toe to center, leg comes back underneath, and we're going to stand back up via our fold. Hands are on the floor, toes tuck, knees lift. Take your time, try to keep that tailbone long. And then as you unfold yourself up, one vertebrae at a time, slowly coming to tall. Head is last, and shake it out. Nice.
Oof. From the sumo, bring our feet in a little bit narrower and try some of those Ferris wheels. Now that clock face is on the wall in front of you, and pushing an ear to the side or using your hand as feedback, pulling away. Try to draw that circle going clockwise first, counterclockwise the second time around. Start by pressing your ear to the right. Doesn't have to be big, but the whole body remains tense. The head drifts to the right. Then from 3 o'clock or lateral, pull your chin down, drift through 6, slide to 9. Without lifting the shoulders, grow tall to midnight, and repeat one more time. Ear to the right, chin low, pulling and pushing, creating tension, returning center. And last, to the left. And from 9 or the left to the bottom at 6, to the right at 3, up and over without lifting the shoulders. And last time, slide around, nice and control. I know that those movements sound a little less like Rice Krispies the more often I do them. Groove them at work, groove them in your workout, practice those Ferris wheels. Next, Ferris wheels at those hips, at the ribs. Core brace, feet into the floor, and slide to that right side. Pull the rib cage down. You could take that punch, sliding then across to the left or 9 without losing the brace. Lift up a little bit. And one more time. To the right. Yep. Use those abdominals to pull down, to slide. Then let go a little as they lift. Return center. Switch your direction. Clockwise first or counter direction next. From the left to the 6, from the 6 to the 3. Nice and control here. Last repetition. Pulling down, sliding across, returning center, and shaking. The narrow stance really challenges this next move, but same thing in those hips from this position. Slight posterior tuck, just to protect that lumbar spine, and then just squirm just a little bit and try to fire those stabilizers in those hip sockets. And they also help mobilize things too. Last, I'm not even sure which way I'm going. So last one, last 2, hula. Do little hulas, change your stance, mix it up. Lauren has a special treat for us. It's going back to the floor. And then you know that lateral position out to the side that was really alarming or beautiful? Let's challenge that with some of those lift-offs, just like last week.
Excellent. I'd like to get down via my hinge right now, though. So instead of forward folding, I'm going to chop my hips back, extending back out the back, feeling that hamstring load, and then gently tipping forward and coming down and making your way to all fours. Maybe take a second off your hands as you watch, and then we'll all do this together. We're going to come down to all fours. From here, we're going to actually gently bring a leg straight out to the side. Then from this position, we'll pack, engage, we'll rotate our foot, and we'll think about doing an active lift off and then gentle tap down. We'll play with that in a couple ways. Biggest thing while you're doing this is keep the core brace and square to the floor so that when you lift off, it's only from the glute versus lifting and tipping out to the side. If you don't lift off, that's also a-okay and probably great because you're doing it right. Enough of this chit chat, let's get back to work. Hands on the floor. Taking a single leg, placing it out beside you on the floor. For right now, just explore your ankle position. So can you get the full foot flat on the floor? Great. Now can we just rotate that so now your instep is on the floor and you've pulled off the lateral part. Great. From here, don't lift it off, but lift 99% of it. Ready, set, fake liftoff. Hold, pretend for 5, 4, 3, 2, gently relax. All right, those are the same muscles we're going to use, and we're going to actually lift off this time. Get ready. 3, 2, knees stay straight. Active lift off. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, tap down. We're going to do that one more time. Pack shoulders, brace core, slightly tuck the hip a little bit, and lift off. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, safe down. Drag that leg to pull it back underneath. Press the floor away. Take a second, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. How'd that feel? So good?
Mm-hmm.
I feel that glute, but I also feel the adductor on the inside of my leg working too. Come on back down. From this position, leg comes out to the side. Explore the ankle again. So can that foot go flat on the floor first? And then after it's been flat, it'll come to just the instep down. Pack shoulders, brace, fake lift off. Go. For 5 seconds, you're pretending to leave the floor, but it hasn't left yet. For 3, 2, relax. Straighten your knee. Squeeze, well, do whatever you need to do to your glutes. And ready, lift off. 5, 4, 3, 2, tap down. Readjust. Stay square to the floor. Last time, active lift off. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, tap down, and then gently bring that knee underneath. And just take a second off of that. Whew. I think we're in a great place for a little sizes sit.
Mm-hmm.
So come down to that kneeling lunge, or that kneeling position, and our feet, as you can see under Ian, are that ballet pointed feet. Now, place your hands on your cheeks. Gently squeeze them both. Good. Now squeeze just your right cheek. And then squeeze just your left cheek. And now squeeze both cheeks, extend your hips up. Toes are going to tuck underneath. With or without your hands, rock yourself back to that low squat, heels down. Pressing those knees towards over those toes. Nice long spine. And then from here, extending, pressing into the floor to stand up tall. Nice.
Working on single leg balances next. Refining that kettlebell swing hinge, your deadlift, or improving your balance for any lifestyle pursuit can all be achieved with this simple drill. Working on single leg drills and then some shoulder moves. So say hello to those triceps, get those shoulders set, and improve that shoulder mobility with that upper back nice and loose now as well. Standing on a single leg, hips through. Adjust your stance now to your hinge stance. Where would you do your kettlebell swing or a version of your deadlift from? Like Lauren cued earlier, let's set up the hip hinge. Hips back, shoulders staying over top of the knees, and then knees vertical, shins stacked over the feet. Extend the hips, pushing the feet into the floor. Cramp those butt cheeks, brace those core muscles, and then relax. Perhaps that's where you start and finish today with that two-footed hinge and just groove that pattern. Extend. If you're willing to join us, let's try that single leg variation. Set up your two-footed hinge, hips back, shoulders again are in line with the knees over top of those shins. Transfer weight to one side. Here I am shifting weight to my left. Then I'll take that leg out to the side like just before on Lauren's drill and then circle it around to the back. We're going to hold for 5 seconds in that position. And in those 5 seconds now, check the shin is vertical, hips level, and shoulders square to the floor. Drag that back foot along the ground, fully extending at the top. Open your stance to the swing hinge. Repeat, set up the hinge, transferring weight to that right side. Then that leg that's extended out to the side, circle it around the back, and just critique little movements to ensure that that shin can stay vertical, shoulders and hips parallel with the floor, and then push down into that standing leg and through. Open your stance. One more time each side. Set up your hinge, hips back. Take time to set up that, again, the shoulders are in a straight line up and down in regards to those shins. Transferring weight to the left side, I believe. Left side, we'll take that leg out the back, and now take a moment, and is that shin really vertical in the front? Pull that femur bone in the hip socket, hold for a couple extra seconds, shoulders staying square, and then extend through. And last one, other side. Hips, check. Let's transition that, loading one side, circling the leg around the back. So I know my front leg is not vertical, so I'm gonna pull that hip into its socket there, making that knee vertical, and then extending through. Before we get to that shoulder extension, in any pose of your choice, perhaps that sumo stance, let's set up in the W. In the W, elevate the shoulders up, let that direction win, but pull down, and then relax. And then pull your elbows low, like at the top of the chin up. Let this down depression action win, but elevate or shrug the shoulders for 3, 2, and relax. Now retract as to pull those shoulder blades together. Let that direction win, but also try to round the shoulder blades forward. Relax. And then round the shoulder blades forward. Let that direction win, but recruit those rhomboids in the back as to pull together. Relax. And then shake that out. Do the same thing with the arms out to the side at a T. With the W shape, elbows low, extending, arms out. Lightly at first, elevate the shoulders. Let that direction win, but from the bottoms of the armpits, pull down. And then relax. Then pull those armpits low like in our arm bar or as we would kettlebell press. The down action wins, but try to elevate the shoulders. Down action wins, try to elevate. Relax. Retract, squeezing that pencil between the shoulder blades. Let that direction win, but from that underneath armpit position here, try to press forward as to protract the shoulder. Relax. And lastly, protract the shoulder. Let it win, but you know the drill. Shore up the slack and pull those rhomboids or scapula together in the back. Relax, return the arms low. We'll come back to those shoulders in a moment. Let's get back to that single leg hinge drill one more time. Any fun variations in that, Lauren, you want to share?
I like this. I like going really slow because I feel that work and stability in my hip a little better.
Yeah, love that weight transfer. So we'll take that 5 or so seconds when we are finding ourselves on that single base of support. And again, that hip slurp, femur socket in, you name whatever that body part is to you. Think about pulling that in to keep that shin nice and vertical. Hinge stance, check, check.
Come forward. Towards me. There, now they can see your butt.
I know, it's a little bit dark back there, I think, too. Okay, so setting up our hinge. Check. Shoulders, you know the drill. They're over top those knees, vertical shins. I'll transfer weight to my right side here, pressing my left leg out laterally. Then circle around, bring it towards the back. And again, is that on a balance beam behind you, or is it still wide? Both are right, just a little more challenging if it's right behind you. Then extend through, drive the tall, adjust your stance. Set up your hip hinge. Long extension through the spine, crown of head pulling away from the hips. Transfer weight to the side of your choice. Then I'm circling around that left leg. The wider base of support out the back might be easier, so please keep it if you need. Or for 2 more seconds, find it on the balance beam, and then extend through. 1 more time each side. Set up the hinge. Groove that pattern for swings or deadlifts, or kitchen, bathroom sink spits, and then reach that leg out the back. Find it on the balance beam. Square up your hinge. Stay tall, stay long. 3, 2, drive through, and final repetition. Hinge, step out first, the hinge, the transfer, the circle, the vertical shin calibration there. Hold for a second longer, and then extend to tall. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. It's time to get on that floor. I'll be doing this movement from a kneeling position, just so we can describe it a little bit better. Lauren might be facing the floor, or any other position that you choose.
Excellent.
Shoulder extension, we warm those triceps. Hello, let's get going. Come on down to the floor any way you wish. Set the shoulder blades. If you're laying prone on the floor like Lauren here, you might want a pillow for the head neck, or even to do one shoulder at a time. Both are nice variations to make this appropriate for you. But as Lauren is, hands in a push-ups position, we'll extend the elbows and place them at our hips with the palms turned up. First, retract the shoulders. So the shoulder blades are doing that set scapula thing, pulling together in the back. Hold that for a second longer, and then take a moment and slowly return the fronts of the shoulders forward as to protract. Repeat. Retract shoulders. The hands are still connected to the floor and extended at the elbows at the hips. Then, with the shoulder blades set, pull the hands towards the feet, reaching low and then away from the body, extending the shoulder. Hold for 3, 2. Now keep the shoulder blades set, but pull that arm back to your sideline towards touching the floor. Then, return the shoulder blade into the protracted or the relaxed position here, letting gravity take over. Repeat. The shoulder blades will set first. Pull them together. Straighten the elbows and reach down towards the feet and then away from the body, extending and holding for 3, 2. Come down a couple degrees, make it a little easy, but hold it. Perhaps retract or reset that shoulder blade. And then for one more time, let's extend that shoulder for 10, 9. If you're out in a Y shape or a wide shape at the hips, could you bring it in tighter to the body? And then with the shoulder blade set, return the backs of the hands towards the floor. When they touch, slowly relax that shoulder blade set. For the press up here, hands in a pushing up position or in that parallel position in our plank. And with the shoulder blades low, press yourself away with that core engaged. And then it's up to you. Come on up to standing any way that works for you. Get that shoulder extension. So again, improving this range back here will help us go towards there. All right. So here we are. We're standing up, shaking it out. Maybe that sip of coffee is nearby, or maybe the timer is just going here and we're ready to do it. We're going to finish today's practice at our bar. You can challenge yourself in the center room as well without your balance aid. But if you need that balance aid at the side, all good. Make this about that hip control, less about balance for right now. So with a balance aid at your side. The inside leg is tall and stable and rooted into the floor. The outside leg, let's pretend to pick it up. With a flat foot, knee extended, could you pick up this foot without it ever leaving the floor, channeling Lauren's drill from before? Does that feel alarming, awakening in those hips? Hold it for 3, 2, and then relax. Let's repeat that same side, but instead of just lifting, lift it in the pretend way, and then pull that middle ankle bone on the outside leg to touch the standing leg. Repeat. Pretend to lift that up. And then with your still foot contacted to the floor, but now loaded joint in the hip, adduct or pull that outside leg into the standing leg. Does that fire up that adductor, stabilize in that hip for 3, 2, and relax. With your balance aid or without, repeat on the other side. My right leg here is going to stay heavily rooted on the floor, and my left, I'll pretend to lift it. So my foot is still contacting the floor, but I can feel that slurp up into the hip, and then relax. For one more time like that, do the pretend lift first, butt squeeze on the heavy leg, this pretend pull, and then connect that outside ankle into that standing leg for 3, and 2, and 1. There isn't a lot of room to go this way into the hips, but creating that stability in center will help us explore that mobility out to the side. Building on that drill, come back to your balance aid, and do the pretend thing first, but then pull up that tension from the floor, that outside ankle is at the coup de pied, or toe touching that ankle knob down below. Perhaps lift it higher. Did your hips stay level or did they hike?
I want to know what we're getting into before I lift it.
Okay, from here, maybe at that knee now, the outside knee is going to pull towards my bar side of the room or across my body. Without rotating, my hips stay forward, shoulders stay forward. That femur bone is going towards 11 o'clock. Then, casually, open that from 11 to 12, and then maybe out towards that lateral position at 3. Same thing again, from that same position, stay tall in the standing leg, bring this knee across the body. It probably won't make it all the way, and then we'll open up to the side. For one more repetition, from the same height, or just slightly higher if we can maintain the hips level, we'll close the leg to center, hold it for 5 seconds, adducting, bringing it in tight, and then open to the side. And then at the side, press down the leg, and then finish out to the side there, and then wiggle it back in to center. Switch, same thing on the other leg. Stability in one, mobility in the other. Pull that energy up. You could stay down low or continue to climb towards the knee. With those hips level, we'll take that knee that's out towards this corner and try to bring it over there. Whew, it's a tough direction for me. Then we'll slowly open back up, hitting that number 4 or that P shape there. Stay at this height. One more repetition. Groove the pattern that we have a stability in the standing leg, and then that adduction, bringing this knee towards Lauren on my right side, slowly to open. From the same height, lower if you need, or challenge your hip flexibility here as we lift that up, adduct, stability on one leg, mobility on the other, open to the side, press down, grow tall, and then heel, pivot to center, and shake. Return to the floor or from a tall kneeling position, and Lauren will cue us through a swimmer, putting again that shoulder extension and all that WT shapes together.
Great. I'm not going to go face down for that then.
Good.
You can.
I will. Yep.
I'll go for my tall kneel or standing position, making sure if you're not, what's nice about the floor position is it forces us to tuck our hips and keep our core engaged versus arching our low back. So if you are exploring this from our kneeling or a standing position, just think about that the whole time. Let's start in our W. Abs braced, shoulders slightly retracted, and pulled down into their lats. Let's explore towards over our head first, or behind our head, I should say, by slowly bringing our hands towards the back of our head or the nape of our neck. As we're there, check in with your wrists. Are they nice and straight? Your elbows are trying to drive back a little bit. Shoulders are still out of your ears. Pull down like you're doing a chin up to come back down to a W. From that W position, let's extend out towards a T. Once you're out in that T, elbows are nice and straight. You're lifting them away from the floor if you're prone there, and then pull back down to your W. Nice. From here, maybe take a second off. You need a little break? Whew. We'll do that again. Explore a Y and an I in the same section this time. From the W, retracted blades and depressed, core braced. This time, extend towards a Y position. Towards your overhead Y, elbows are straight. Check in with where your shoulders are. Are they out of your ears? Holding that straight elbow Y position for 3. 2, pull down, doing your chin up, returning to a W. If that Y felt okay, we're going to go to an I. If the Y was overhead enough for you, go back to a Y. I'm working towards that I position or straight up overhead. Once I get there though, making sure my shoulders are set and my ribs are towards hips, keeping that core braced. Holding for 3, 2, and then pulling back down towards the W, doing your chin up, chin up, chin up, chin up, and gently relax. Yeah, now you know what it's like down there.
It's nicer standing up. Nicer standing up. But come on down to the ground. I want to throw it to Lauren back on the floor one more time and to connect all those unique positions we explored in the hips. The hinging, the flexing, the pulling the knee towards the chest, out to the side, the extension, the whole thing. So from all fours, let's throw it to Lauren one more time and draw nice hip circles to groove out the hip shape.
We'll go hip flexion first, so to the front, around the side, to the back, and then back, side, front. What that means, hands underneath the shoulders, that neutral position. Gently bend the knee, getting the ankle as close to the bottom as you can. Now slightly lift the knee off the floor, keeping the tailbone long, bring the knee towards the chest and hold. From there, the leg is going to lift to the side. Don't spill your bowl of water off your back as you go there. The ankle might lift as you rotate through some internal rotation, drawing a circle all the way around to the back side where you end up in your hip extension. Pausing there, squaring up to the floor, feeling that glute. Pull that leg underneath to return it to parallel, but don't let it rest. The knee should still be deeply bent. Now from here, slowly extend out the back, kicking the ceiling, squared up, lifting the leg out to the side, like you're near that hydrant, drawing the circle all the way around towards the elbow. It comes underneath towards the chest, and then gently relaxes back on the floor. Whew. Shake it out. Same thing other side. If you even want more of a challenge, you could put a tennis ball or a ball of socks behind your knee and try to hold it there the whole time. That's also fun. All right, second side. Bend the knee, tailbones long. Slowly bring the knee towards the chest. Then it lifts out to the side, staying square to the floor as it draws the circle all the way around out to the back to our hip extension. Stay square, re-kick, brace core, pull the knee underneath. Reverse the direction. Keep the knee bent, hip extension first, kicking the ceiling, then opening out to the side, staying square, bringing that knee towards the elbow, then towards the chest, keeping the tailbone long, and then letting it rest back underneath.
Whew. I hope we shared the role of good cop, bad cop here as we played with our strength and shared simple strategies that you could do all week at work, in your workout, or Netflixing or everywhere in between. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
We'll be back next week. However, as we emerge from gray to red in new color phases and new ways of pandemic life, slight adjustments are coming ahead next week for your schedule. Stay tuned to adjustments. Thank you for your patience and patronage. We appreciate your help. We appreciate your practicing with us. And my coffee's getting cold. Yours is ready. We'll head out. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.